Welcome to Work in Progress, Conversations with Creators. I'm your host, Logan Roy Speitman. On today's program, I have with me a very funny, very talented person, JAIME French, who started out doing makeup on YouTube, became kind of a YouTube celebrity, comedian, now doing music and comedy, and just a really interesting entertainer, lovely human being. I hope that you enjoy.
If you enjoy our podcast, please like and subscribe and consider becoming a digital subscriber to the Albuquerque Journal to help us bring you more content like this. You can find this episode and all of our podcasts on the Albuquerque Journal website, abqjournal.com, as well as YouTube, iTunes, and Spotify. See the show notes for a discount code on a digital subscription. Thank you for supporting the Albuquerque Journal, New Mexico's leading news.
All right, JAIME, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so it's great to talk to you. And, I've been trying to think because you've done a lot of things, and you're coming here to Albuquerque to Hyenas, which is a comedy club, and you're doing comedy, but you also are a singer, beautiful singer. And, you started out, you were doing kind of like makeup tutorials and you're like an online kind of cultural commentator. And how do you define yourself if you had to say sort of one word or two words?
Oh, one word. That's tough. I think I would just go with creator because all the hats I wear are quite creative.
Yeah. And you started quite young. I mean, you kind of grew up on screen in a way, right? When did you start out?
I started making videos at a really young age. I got a little JVC camcorder gifted to me at 12 years old. And so I started that process as a kid, but I didn't really start putting it out to the universe, and on the internet until I was, I think 27, like 2016 or so is when I worked up the courage.
Yeah. And then was it that you had that like one makeup tutorial where it's like a joke makeup tutorial, like if they had these sort of YouTube makeup influencers back in the 90s?
Yeah.
And you do that where you like give yourself extra rouge, you have this foundation that doesn't match your skin tone, you cover yourself in body glitter, and your hair is like this.
And eyebrows. Yeah.
Which is hilarious. Was that like the first thing that kind of blew up for you?
No, so that was the second thing. I had 3 really big viral videos, and they were every year in April. It was like April 2018, 2019, and 2020, which is strange. But my very first one that blew up was a makeup tutorial I did with tiny hands. And I just had these little plastic hands, and I like did my makeup, and it was so funny. Like once I did all the editing and everything, I'm like, this is pretty funny. It blew up, and that was kind of the moment for me where I started to realize I was a little bit stronger with comedy than I actually was with, beauty and the thing that was my job at the time. So that started the evolution into comedy.
Yeah, I mean that's so interesting. Maybe talk a little bit. I mean, if we don't have to dwell on the past, but maybe just take us back there a little bit because I think it's really fascinating.
Yeah.
And what was that like, kind of transitioning from beauty to comedy?
It just felt right. Like I said, I got that camcorder gifted to me at a young age, and I wasn't doing beauty as a kid. I grew up making comedy. I would just make these funny sketches and videos or like recreate episodes of the shows I watched on TV. So comedy has just always been in my blood, and it's always been a passion. I don't think I really had a lot of confidence in it. Comedy is kind of scary and very vulnerable, and as a young person, I questioned, like, okay, I can make my friends and family laugh, but I don't think I can make people on the internet laugh, So I went with my skill that I was confident in for YouTube. And so it kind of took that transition. I'm really glad I went through that transition of starting off very safe with my skill and finding my footing with comedy. And once I started to pursue the comedy side of it, it felt so much more natural. I didn't really love my job as a hairstylist and makeup artist. It was kind of just something I chose because I didn't like being in school. And so the comedy part has actually felt much more true to who I am.
But then kind of going from doing comedy on YouTube to doing it live, you know, because
Yeah.
a lot like, most comedians probably start I don't know nowadays, but in the past, you know, would start out by doing the clubs and everything, and that
Uh-huh.
wasn't your path. So, what's that when did you start doing that, and how's that transition been?
I considered it for a long time. My viewers would leave comments like, "Do you ever do stand-up? You're so naturally funny." And I was just again, like, fear kind of dictated my decisions as a young person. I'm like, "I could never do that, I could never do that." And then when I met Lynn, my manager, she was suggesting that a little bit because I really wanted to get into, like, film and television and acting, and she was like, "Why don't you, get on the mic and explore this, part of your career, and that can open other doors, if you can work some stuff out with stand-up comedy and flex that muscle, develop those chops, this other stuff might fall into place a little easier." And I was like, I don't know." And then the owner of a comedy club of Mic Drop Comedy in San Diego reached out to me and she was like, "Hey, I'm a big fan of your work. Would you wanna come do a show here?" And I just was like, "You know what? I think I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna take this opportunity to try doing stand-up and see how it goes." And it was a sold out show. It was a 90-minute show, so I went from having never done stand-up before to doing 90 minutes of it.
Wow. Yeah, because usually people starting out will do, like, 5 minutes, like, opening for
Yeah,
someone. It's like you're not there with a sold out show doing that's a lot of
yeah.
pressure, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, the pressure about killed me, like, I was so nervous about it that coming when I came off stage, I was like, "I don't even know what I just did." I kinda blacked out. A lot of, stress over memorizing the material, but it worked out. I mean, I'm not gonna say I did an amazing job, it was my first go around, and when I watch the footage back now, I'm like, "Oh." It's kinda hard to watch, but I mean, I was so proud to have done it, and the audience was so generous, and it was such a cool my favorite thing about stand-up is connecting with the audience, and so
Yeah.
I caught the bug and kept going.
Amazing, and people knew you, I guess, from like, they were already fans of yours,
Yeah, so
right?
I definitely
So
had an advantage with that,
yeah,
depending
no,
on
I
how you
think
look at it.
mhm. Well, I mean, they kinda knew what to expect, they liked you already, so it is different than I think just if you're starting out and nobody knows who you are, and
Yeah.
it's like,
There's
"Make us laugh,"
advantages.
you know?
Yeah, there's advantages and disadvantages, like, it was I was so fortunate that these people already knew and loved me, but also there was an expectation. So it
Yeah.
was like, "We already know you make us laugh on YouTube. Are you gonna do that in person?" So there was definitely, like, in some ways, I feel like I had it very easy. In other ways, there was a little extra pressure there to not disappoint their expectations.
Yeah, and then let's talk a little bit about your music, because I think that also started out as kind of comedic,
Yeah.
and but that's shifted as well.
Yeah, I've, sang my whole life. I did all of the musical theater and talent shows and choir and everything in high school. And, my senior year, I got the most likely to sign a record deal
Mm.
superlative because that's what I did. I was the singer. And again, it was the same thing with comedy, just like, okay, well, my friends and family like this, but I don't know that it's good enough to put myself out there on the internet. It's so vulnerable. But, like most singers, you just randomly, spontaneously burst into song, and I would write parody songs that were comedic, and my viewers would obviously hear me sing, and for years, it was like, "Why aren't you doing anything with your voice? Why aren't you putting out an
Yeah.
album?" And I had so much fear surrounding it. I couldn't even, you know, sing. I remember trying to sing at my dad's wedding, and I couldn't even enjoy the wedding because I was so nervous. I just had a lot of fear
Oh, wow.
surrounding everything. So over time, especially, like, doing stand-up, I mean, nothing scares me now after doing that.
Huh.
It raised the bar so high, and so I started to, relax a little bit. I realized from writing parodies that I could actually write lyrics. My husband was very, like, good with, GarageBand and Logic's, like, he was able to kinda help me lay down vocals or add drums or add strings or whatever I wanted. And so I started to get the feel of songwriting just from comedy. And between, my own passion for it and the encouragement from my viewers, I was like, I'm going to write some music. And I really like how it turned out. I took it here to Nashville, and the musicians here made it even better than I could have imagined. And I caught the bug. I'm addicted to it now.
Yeah. And have you signed a record contract?
I have not. I had an
No, okay.
offer and I didn't love the terms. And I was like, I kind of feel like record deals are starting to be a thing of the past.
Yeah.
People are realizing that it's not always in favor of the artist, like financially. And so if I'm able to do this stuff myself, I would like to keep it that way. Unless I got a really good, very favorable deal that made sense, I would be open to it. But right now I haven't felt the need.
Yeah, yeah, I say, yeah, hold out and if you could do it on your own, then
Yeah.
do that, right? Why not? So
Yeah.
maybe, like that prediction from high school hasn't literally come true, but in a way, I mean, you are singing,
Yeah.
professionally as part of your
I
life
actually
now,
never
so
thought of that until you said that.
mhm. That's kinda cool,
That is
to
cool.
think back. Yeah, I know the music industry has completely changed. It's weird, as I was driving in here, I have Spotify, which I know is terrible for musicians, but I've had it anyway, they have this thing on there that it'll tell you, like, the first songs you ever listened to. It's a new feature that I don't know.
Oh,
So, I clicked on that, and it was showing me, like, what I was listening to in 2011 when I joined. I'm
yeah.
like, "Oh my god, like, that's 15 years ago. This is, like, the longest relationship I've ever had is with
Yeah, it
Spotify."
outlasts most marriages. What
Mhm.
was your first song?
The first song was, "Where Do You Go To, My Lovely" by Peter Sarstedt, which was featured in a Wes Anderson film, the one in India, Darjeeling Limited, I think had come out around then. So,
Wow.
I think I must have got on Spotify and just went right for that song, you know?
Oh, how cool. I wanna look at mine.
Yeah, see what yours is. But I guess anyway, that's a bit of a tangent, but a lot of your content, that I've seen, at least some of it, you kind of look back. There's a bit of nostalgia, but also a bit of cringe, kind of looking at
Uh-huh.
culture from decades ago.
Yeah, yeah. The
When
nostalgia
and yeah,
speaks
maybe talk a little bit about that. Where does that come from?
I've always been a very nostalgic person. Even as a kid, I would, at 10 years old, I was thinking about things I did at 5 years old. Like, I love, anything to do with the 1990s, anything to do with our childhoods where we grew up, and I've noticed on the internet, nostalgia is a big thing. It really speaks to a lot of people. It really speaks to my demographic. Like,
Yeah,
my biggest demographic of who watches me is women 25 to 45. And so which I'm in that demographic too. So it's kinda just like anytime I reference something from the past, it feels just like this big inside joke that that we're all in on. So
yeah,
I love reviewing movies that we grew up watching or TV shows that we grew up watching, looking at how they aged, most of them aged
yeah.
poorly, and it's kinda like a bonding experience. We all are like, "Hey, I remember that," and everyone has a laugh, and it's a blast.
Yeah, and it's like, there's movies I loved when I was a kid, I like and I rewatch, I'm like, "Oh my god, this is awful," you
Yeah,
know?
it's
Isn't
so
that a
bad.
weird experience? Because you have in your mind what you think the movie was, and then rewatching it now, like, with your,
It's a different
fully developed
perspective.
adult brain, it's like, "What the heck
Yeah,
was that?"
and so many things that we thought were normal and cool and kind of even shaped the way a lot of the movies I watched as a kid, like, shaped the way I thought of things and how I did
Yeah.
things, and you look back and you're like, "Wow, that was not something I should have," that should have been shaping how I did anything. Like, a lot of them, like I said, didn't age well, and it's so funny to explore now, and just funny to see, like, things that I thought were so cool and amazing, and now they're very cheesy, or now
Mhm.
you realize the acting is terrible, or the camera work is terrible, or the editing, it's just so fun to look through a different lens.
But also, like, some things are really problematic, and I mean, you know, recently there was this I haven't watched the documentary, but about Project Runway, right?
America's
And
Next Top Model?
oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. America's Next Top Model.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, Project Runway was maybe a little bit, but, you know, Next Top Model was awful, like, they're forcing women to get surgeries and all this stuff, you know?
Yes. And
And
again, that
you did a piece about that recently.
yeah, and that was another one that we grew up with, and it shaped my thoughts about things. You know, like, they would tell a girl she was, overweight because she was a size 6, and what does that
Yeah.
tell a young girl watching? "Oh, I'm overweight if I'm a size 6." So it was just it's really weird to look back with a fully developed brain and just be like, "Wow, how is this allowed on TV?" You know, and how can I make this into a funny piece of content to put on YouTube to where we can all laugh and bond over it.
Yeah, and is that ever a challenge, like, dealing with serious issues in a funny way?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's hard to find a balance. There's definitely topics that I probably could have gotten a lot of views on if I had made a video about it, but if I can't find a tasteful way to talk about something, be entertaining, but also be very delicate, then I won't do a video about it.
Like, what's an example of that?
Um, I remember when I mean, it's happened so many times over the years, but not that long ago, everybody on the internet was talking about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Have you heard of her?
The well, there was, like, the musical Gypsy this is something else, I think.
No, this is a woman, her name is Gypsy Rose, and
Uh-huh.
when she had, like, a abusive mother, and she ended up having her mom killed, and there was a trial, and she went to prison, and she got released, and everybody was talking about it, and I was like, I probably coulda got a million views if I had done a YouTube video about it, but
Yeah.
stuff like that has never felt good to me. I'm like, if I can't somehow maintain like a neutral stance, if I can't make people laugh, if it's gonna get too dark and serious, it has to check a
Yeah.
lot of boxes, and so I tend to avoid stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think now that you're saying it, I feel like I vaguely remember, but I don't really pay a lot of attention to, like, true crime stuff or I don't
Okay,
know, but,
it was
yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, I know.
Or like
But some
the Johnny Depp trial.
oh,
When he was
yeah.
going through his divorce, everyone was talking about that. I'm like, "I'm not gonna go into someone's divorce," you know?
Yeah, I feel like that got very ugly, but then, like, people thought it was, like, funny, and I'm like, "It's not really funny." It's like, it's
Yeah,
really kind of yeah.
it's sad.
So, yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's good. I think, yeah, you don't have to cover everything, you know?
Yeah, you gotta pick your pick
Pick
and
your
choose.
battles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so, alright, so you have this music video, that I watched for, what is it?
The
The
Hunter.
Hunter the Hunter
Yeah.
that you shot in the woods,
Uh-huh.
and you did a kind of, like, behind the scene thing, and you were like, "It's, like, really difficult to run in the woods." Talk about that process of making that video.
From the moment I wrote the song, I had the vision of the video, and I just wanted it to look kinda how insomnia actually feels to me, which I always
Yeah.
feel like my own mind is hunting me or, like, betraying me.
Mhm.
And it's like, as soon as I enter into this lovely dreamland, this other part of my brain is there, like, "You're not going to sleep." And so I had this vision of how I wanted it illustrated, and I remember telling the producers, I was like, "I wanna fall asleep, and then it cuts into the woods, and I'm in a white dress, very ethereal and dreamlike, and then this dark hooded figure is hunting me, but they're both me." And, I'm thinking, "This is gonna be so easy. We're gonna just run to the woods, we'll shoot this part, we'll shoot this part, and we'll edit them together." And it was so much more more complicated than I realized, which I should have known as someone who's been making videos for so many years, but gosh, there was like a staff of 20 people out there and massive lighting rigs, and I'm running through the woods and I kept tripping, or I wear this dark hooded cape and it would get snagged on a twig, and water everywhere, getting covered in mud, and
Yeah.
everybody's out there, the whole crew is out there in like 45 degrees freezing. So I second guessed a little bit during the process, but ultimately I was so glad we did it 'cause it's really a really cool video.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful video, and I'm sure you could make a whole other video that would just be all, like, kinda bloopers and,
Oh, yeah,
um
I asked them, I was like, "Can I have all the behind the scenes, like, raw footage so I can make
yeah.
fun of myself?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's great. Um, but, let's say so how do you become like, how do you go viral? This is probably a question a lot of people have, and maybe there's no rhyme or reason to it, you know?
Yeah,
But is there something that you've kind of
like a
seen,
formula.
like some reason why certain things take off and other things.
That's such a good question, and I used to feel like I had a really good handle on that, like, I knew when I was making a video, this one's gonna get 1,000,000 views, you know? But the landscape of social media has changed so much, and every platform is also so different now. I used to get, 23,000,000 views on a TikTok video, and now I might get 13,000, but I'll get
Mm,
way more on Facebook, even if I post the same video everywhere, so I don't totally understand how to go viral when it comes to short form content anymore, apart from every platform wants to keep the viewer there as long as possible. So as long as you can get someone to watch, the better. So if that means like leaving a cliffhanger at the beginning or saying something like, "Oh, that took a turn," or "Watch till the end,"
yeah.
something to keep people watching, the algorithm will push your video out further. And with long form, again, like the trending topics, YouTube is a search engine. So you have to think in terms of what are people searching for right now? What is my demographic searching for? What's everybody talking about? Can I make a funny video about it? And typically, videos will do pretty well if it's something that's being heavily searched.
So why don't we say something right now that's being heavily searched and then leave us on a juicy cliffhanger so we can make this go viral, this moment right
Oh,
now?
okay.
Am I putting you on the spot? We can come back to this. We could do this in 3 minutes. If you
Perfect.
if
Yeah,
you
let
don't
me
have
think.
something on think about it, and then we'll try to make a viral moment in a couple minutes. Um,
Perfect.
so just, put your thinking cap on,
My thinking cap on.
and, we'll figure that out. In the meantime, let's talk more about the music because I do think, again, this is, like, a really interesting thing. Because right now, like, when you're gonna come here to Albuquerque or other places on your tour, you're gonna be doing comedy and music both, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And, is that your goal to keep doing that, or you wanna kinda transition into being kind of full-time singer, songwriter,
Man.
acting? Like, what's your when you think of the future, and
That is
maybe it's open, but you have a sense?
That's such a good question, and it always changes. When I first started stand up, I was like, my goal was to kind of pull back from YouTube a little bit because
Yeah.
YouTube is very mentally taxing. And with YouTube, you are the talent and the writer and the producer and the editor, and the lighting guy, you're the gaffer. So it's a little overwhelming for me. And I was like, well, maybe I could pull back, but still explore my passions and do acting and singing and stand up. And when I start to focus heavily on those things, then I miss YouTube a lot. And I'm like, "Man, this is hard." I kinda miss being up in the peace of my own home in front of a camera. So I feel like all the parts of my career have things that I love and challenges, and right now, I'm enjoying them all equally. Like, live comedy, there's a lot more pressure. I get nerves that I don't get with YouTube, but when I'm sitting alone in front of a camera, I'm not bonding and connecting with my audience like I am doing stand up.
Yeah.
And so everything has these beautiful benefits and these really hard challenges, and I'm kinda loving them all equally right now. I guess if I really, narrowed it down at this moment, I'm very drawn towards the music. I've just had so many good experiences with it recently. A couple weeks ago, I was in the studio for 2 days filming a live from the studio version of The Hunter, and it's just singing comes the most naturally. I don't have to do a ton of preparation, I don't have to memorize a lot. It just kind of flows out of me easily, and when you're surrounded by all these brilliant musicians, that are smarter than me, and they're making my song even better than I ever could. It's such a good feeling. So I think I could be in the music studio every day
Yeah.
until I started to miss the comedy.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Is
can't.
there a another musician, whether, you know, a singer or a producer or anyone in the music industry that you would want to do, like, a collab with at some point if you could?
Wow, that's a really good
Um,
question.
or, you
I
know, it doesn't have to be one if you have a couple, you know?
Yeah, I feel like my experience recording in Nashville was so amazing that it kind of checked that box for me. Like, the guy who produced my album, Tom Bukovac, is so brilliant, and he's so, well respected in this town, and the experience that he gave me with, like, taking my lyrics and turning them into something spectacular, I'm like, I can't even believe I got to work with him, you know, and I can't even believe I got to work with the musicians that played on my record, and so I feel so fortunate already. Of course,
Yeah.
I have dreams of, like, one day meeting Ann Wilson, the lead singer of Heart. I think I would
Yeah.
probably like, I think I would probably cry just, like, being introduced to her. The other part of me is like, I don't know if I could actually sing with somebody like that because I would just be so intimidated, you know? So on
Uh-huh.
one hand, it's like I've already experienced working with dream musicians. On the other hand, I'm like, "Well, who else am I gonna meet and maybe sing with one day," you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, time will tell, I guess, you know,
Yeah,
we'll see.
we'll see.
Um,
This
yeah.
town, you run into people.
So I wanna go back a little bit to The Hunter, and, you know, it's about insomnia, like you were saying, and
Yeah.
do you have insomnia now? Like, is that like a have you had it for is it like a chronic condition with you?
Yeah, I've struggled with it, like, as far back as I can remember, and it got a lot worse since moving to Nashville for whatever reason. I don't know if it's just a new environment or maybe stress of the move or what, but yeah, insomnia is a big struggle. I just got blood work yesterday and they were like, "Your cortisol's high, are you sleeping?" Like, not
Uh-huh.
really. So, that has been such a I remember when I wrote the song, I was walking around my house carrying a laundry basket, you know, half asleep, and the chorus just kinda came to me out of thin air. I'm just like, "Man, it feels like someone last night was just yelling at me to wake up." And so, it definitely was drawn from very real and very ongoing experiences.
Yeah, you know, I had insomnia really bad for many years, and, I think there were a lot of reasons for it, you know, but, honestly, like, what I do now, um, it's like the thing that sometimes I'll take what are those, like, gummy things called that have
Like
the,
melatonin.
melatonin, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so sometimes that you know, but there's another thing, there's this, it's called Bore Me to Sleep. Have you heard of this?
No.
If you go on Spotify, check out Bore Me to Sleep, and it's like this guy who just, like, creates these AI lectures because he said, like, you know, people often try to listen to boring lectures to fall asleep,
Yeah.
but sometimes, like, your brain gets interested in it, and so you don't wanna fall asleep because you wanna find out what they're gonna say. So, he creates these things that it's like a lecture on math, but it's just gibberish that's generated by AI, so it doesn't have any real content, it doesn't have any real meaning,
Oh, so you can't
and you
follow
just
along.
so you can't follow it's just random words, but sort of math related, and so it has that feeling of a boring lecture, but you won't get hooked into it, and so it lets so that's the only thing that really works for me. So,
That actually
maybe
works.
it works for me every time. Yeah, Bore Me to Sleep. Try it out. That's a free ad. We're not being
Thank
sponsored
you.
by them. Bore Me to Sleep people, if you wanna sponsor us, you can, but
Yeah, send the paycheck.
yeah, yeah,
I'm actually totally willing to try that because anything that I take, like melatonin or anything, it
yeah.
just makes me kinda groggy the next day.
Sometimes that
So,
happens, yeah.
yeah, so I would love a weird solution like that.
Yeah, let me know if it works. Have you had time to think of a hot topic that we can address and leave people on a cliffhanger to create a viral moment?
So, I don't know about a hot topic, but I know that you can create a
Uh,
viral moment with a title like, "You'll never believe
uh-huh.
what Jamie French said during this interview," or "This interview was a fail, or this interview didn't go that well. I mean, of course
Oh,
it did.
yeah.
You know, a clickbaity title, a thumbnail where we're like making a face.
Uh-huh. So what should I ask you?
Oh, what should you ask me?
Should it be like a kind of invasive question? Should it be or maybe, I set you up and then you know, um
Yeah, like a
who's a celebrity that you hate?
there you go, like an inappropriate interview question. Right now, I kinda hate Tyra Banks.
Oh,
I'm just
but a
kidding.
lot of people do right now, so that's not that controversial, you know?
Yeah, that's true, and hate's a strong
Um,
word.
if you hated Bad Bunny or something, that would be,
Oh my god, I'd be canceled.
yeah.
My career would be
Yeah,
over.
that would go the wrong way.
There are certain
Alright.
celebrities that are untouchable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Taylor
yeah.
Swift, oh my gosh, imagine
Uh-huh.
if I didn't like Taylor Swift.
A lot of people hate Taylor Swift. They say she's out of touch and
Yeah, she gets canceled for her private jet, the path her private jet takes, I saw.
uh-huh. Watch what Jamie French
Yeah,
says about Taylor Swift and
sweet.
her private jet.
There you go, that'll get you a viral moment. Or I could yell at the camera.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do a little yelling.
Anytime, like, if it's an interview,
Uh-huh.
you know, think about, like, if do you ever watch Watch Mojo? Like, "Today we're
No.
counting down." Oh, I love Watch Mojo. They'll it's
Well,
just this
I'll watch it now. Tell me about it.
it's like a channel, and all they do is compile moments. Like, today we're talking about the most awkward interviews ever, or the top 10,
Oh, yeah.
you know, this, that, or the other. And if you ever watch, like, the top 10 most awkward celebrity interviews, they're so uncomfortable to watch, but you always click on them. So if
Yeah.
someone saw our thumbnail and thought we were like, I was yelling at you or something, you'd probably get
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot more views.
Maybe that's the thing, like, I'm too nice, so it doesn't have that,
Mhm. Yeah, you're not
but
controversial.
yeah, I don't know, but oh well.
There
Um, no, so I just, interviewed Paula Poundstone. Do you know her? She's a comedian
oh,
and,
no, I
very,
don't.
very, 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 very funny. I grew up with her, kind of, I feel like in the '90s, she was on TV a lot um, she's still doing stand-up all around and she's on NPR's Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. Anyway, really funny. But she was talking about how she has a horrible memory. And so her whole act is basically just talking to the audience, or just saying whatever's on her mind because she can't memorize a routine. And this is what and she's very good at doing the extemporaneous kind of thing, which some people are
Yeah.
not good at. Um, but I wonder about you. I mean, you said you get nervous, but I mean, are you like memorizing a routine? Do you have everything figured out? Is there,
Yeah.
how does that work with you?
In the beginning, I memorized my, material word for word, and it was my biggest fear. I was like, "I cannot forget this, I cannot forget this, because this joke leads into the next joke," you know? And I also have a slideshow, like, media that goes with my show, and so if I don't say the right cue, then the slide's not gonna play.
Oh yeah.
And that adds a lot of pressure, but more importantly, I actually think I've become a much stronger comic when I realized that I don't have to memorize everything, and that I can hit bullet points, but just speaking off the cuff how you would naturally speak is so much funnier. And
Yeah.
but it took you have to learn that. Like, it took me doing some crowd work to realize I could do crowd work, you know? And those moments where I would actually, um, improvise and talk to the crowd are always everybody's favorites. When I watch the footage back, it's like it's always the biggest laugh, and so it was a bit of a learning curve, but now I realize really the less memorized that I have it, the better. I just
Yeah.
have
Well,
to make sure I hit all the points, you know?
yeah, yeah. It sounds like you've gotten a lot more comfortable in front of an audience
Yeah.
over the time,
You have to give
and
the audience credit.
Mhm.
Sorry. Like, I
No, no.
once I realized, like, these are good people, they're here to laugh, they
Yeah.
want to have a good time, they're not that scary, you know? That has been helpful.
Yeah. And do you still get nervous though?
Oh, yeah. It's just not as bad as it used to. Like, in the beginning, I wanted to throw up. I was so nervous back there in the weeks leading up to to a show. You know, I'm sleeping even worse. I would just wake up thinking, "Oh my god, I have to be on a stage." And the crowd, my audience and my fans really helped me with that. They have been very generous and very engaged and given me a lot of big laughs and been very present, and they kinda taught me, "Okay, this is a symbiotic relationship," you know? They're not going to, nothing's gonna happen if I don't do a perfectly amazing job. So that's
Yeah.
been a really cool learning experience.
Like, I mean, is there any advice you could give to people out there who maybe are a bit nervous about how do you was there anything that you did kind of, is there something you say to yourself or something you prepare, like, kind of before you go out that helps you?
I don't necessarily have, like, a motto I repeat or anything, but I just remind myself to give the audience credit, that they are here to laugh, and they're here because they wanna be. And, a big tip that helps me is to be fully present in your body. So, like, feeling your feet on the floor, feel the microphone in your hand. If someone from the audience says something, fully engage and pay attention to what they're saying and be present in your body. Because the second you go up into your head and start thinking about your material and, "Ooh, did I say that punchline?" You're no longer present and
Yeah.
your material doesn't come out the same.
Yeah, so just be in the moment.
Be in the moment, and if something goes wrong, just paint it red, you know? Like, I did a whole show, I think, in LA with my fly down, and it's like, that's a moment where you could get embarrassed and be like, "Oh my god, I ruined the show," but just owning it, maybe even pointing it out, everybody has a laugh, and just remembering that everybody there is human,
Right.
and even if you bomb, you will survive. I've bombed before, and I didn't die, and that was a great experience.
Good. If you didn't die, that's always good, you know?
You
And
think
if you
it's
have your fly down and then you mention it, then people assume, "Oh, it was a joke, like, she knew this. She's
right.
like she did
It
this on purpose," you
was
know?
part of the bit.
She Yeah, yeah. Nobody knows, so, yeah, like you said, just own it. I think that's probably good advice too, you know?
Yeah, people are
Um,
generous.
what's that?
People are generous, you gotta give them credit. The crowd is they love you. You know, even if you're
Yeah.
new, nobody wants to see someone get up there and fail unless maybe you're watching Kill Tony, but most of the
Uh-huh.
time, the crowd is very generous.
Yeah, yeah. Um, well, great. I've really enjoyed talking to you,
Too.
I'm looking forward to seeing you when you come here to Albuquerque,
Are you coming?
and yeah, I'm hoping to.
Oh, cool, yay.
Yeah, if I don't, I don't know, get in a car crash or but hopefully I'll be there.
God
Yeah,
willing.
that'll be great. Is there anything else you wanna say to the people of New Mexico?
Oh, just that I'm so excited to meet you. I've never been to Albuquerque. I've just heard incredible things, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah? What have you heard?
just that it's so beautiful there and like, scenic, and isn't Albuquerque where they filmed Breaking Bad?
Yep, yep.
Yeah, and it's just, like, beautiful. I don't know the word. I don't wanna say desert, but
Well, yeah, we have a
like
lot of
a
desert we have a lot of desert around us, and so if you wanna spend a little time, you just go, like, a couple miles out of the city, and it's desert and mountains, and yeah,
yeah,
you
and
can
just
hike a little bit if you like that. There's road runners here, you know?
really?
Yeah, they're in my neighborhood. I've never lived in a place with roadrunners. I've lived in places with, like, neighborhood cats that come around. Now we have, like, neighborhood roadrunners. It's amazing.
Oh, I
So,
can't wait. I've never seen one in real life. Every
yeah,
new
well, hopefully.
city is
Mhm.
exciting. It has its own little personality.
Oh, yeah, have you been to sorry, and then we'll I think we're supposed to wrap up, but, um, Madison, Wisconsin, I went there one summer, and they have, like, bunny rabbits hopping around the way other cities have squirrels.
Oh, really?
So yeah, just, like, different and we have roadrunners, so
I would love that, and when I was in Chicago, I was, like, hand feeding birds.
oh, yeah.
You know, like, every city has its own little quirks. I'm
Yeah.
excited to see what you guys got going on there.
Amazing. You'll never guess what JAIME French has to say about birds. All right. Thank you very much. This has been really enjoyable, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.